I'm gonna step back. I know it's gonna be fine, but may as well just be safe. Hey world, Will White here, Pike Down the Project, giving you a few pro tips today. What I'll be doing is building upon David Grasty's version of a hobo stove, something I learned from him. I'm going to take what he taught me and the other students and use it in a different setting. So the situation tonight is not real world. We have family coming in for the holidays. We may run out of room in the house, 15, 20 people. We're going to need some extra beds. If we run out, of course, I'll be the one sleeping in the woods. So one of the students and me, we built a Lincoln log shelter today. Basically a rectangle bed with a roof on it. But now we need to put bedding down. Leaves, but everything's wet. So I'm at home. What's the quickest, easiest way to get a fire going, long lasting, to dry out the wood? The hobo stove. So the sequence of operation is get the hobo stove going, use that to dry some wood. Once that wood is dry, we will remove the hobo stove, build a proper fire. Once that's hot enough, we'll surround the fire with wet leaves and let the heat radiation dry those leaves out. The other upside of using fire to dry your leaves is the smoke. So right before I take away all the leaves and put them in my bed, I'm going to put a handful of either fresh green plants on here or just damp leaves. What that's going to do is going to cause the moisture to evaporate, creating smoke. Animals don't like smoke. We don't like smoke. Spiders don't like it. So what I'll do is push all that smoke into the big pile of leaves, pushing most of the spiders out. I'm sure I'll have a couple with me still, but I'd rather have just one versus 10. So essentially a hobo stove, this isn't so much you're lost in the wild because you're not going to have these things, but your car breaks down, your power goes out, it's really cold. Think whatever scenario you have to. Maybe it's the sear situation, you're lost in an urban environment, and you just need some warmth. And you find a metal can, some sort of fuel source, and some dirt. You can make a hobo stove. This is kind of a hobo stove built up quite a bit. Super simple, metal container that's not going to melt. Dirt. It can even be wet. The drier it is, the better. The rule on this is you don't want to have any standing fuel. So if you can see any puddle of fuel, you don't want that. You're going to want to pour some out. What we're going to do is pour something flammable in here today, believe it or not, gasoline. I know half of you are going to be like, what, that's crazy. Sounds scary, it's perfectly fine. Kerosene is best, but right now all we have is gasoline. So I have my lighting stick right here. What I'm going to do is put this over my bucket. So as I'm pouring gasoline into my bucket, this is already getting soaked in gasoline, so I don't have to do a second step. Just do it all together. Woo. Keep this far away. And as you can see, there's no standing fluid. There's no puddle gathered. That's important. My ladder's actually out of fluid, but we're gonna see if we can catch it with the spark. So the spark did not work, so I'm gonna add a little bit more gasoline. Because again, it's the fumes in the gasoline that what combusts or lights first. I'm gonna step back. I know it's gonna be fine, but may as well just be safe. Okay. So that will burn probably about 45 minutes. Now all I do after that, start drying my wood. So what I'm gonna do, since I do wanna build a fire and dry out all my leaves for bedding, I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this damp, smaller pieces on, because that's gonna be a good foundation or base for my fire. And the larger parts I'm going to put next to my bucket so that radiation heat is going to help dry them out as well. So once these are dried out, the smaller pieces, I'll go ahead and build a proper fire and transfer these larger pieces onto this fire as well, drying them out. Just basically speeding up the whole process, maximizing all my efforts. And this is not a survival situation, but if you are lost in the wild, calories matter, energy matters, time matters, sweat matters, hydration, calories, all that. If you can find a way to do something more efficiently, do that. Don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, don't waste your hydration. If you can get it done in 10 minutes with minimal effort versus 10 minutes with maximal, Obviously, save your energy. You don't know how long you're going to be out there. So a couple things, extra little tips. If you're not sure how good this insulation is, especially if it's dry, go outside on a day like today. It's cool, cloudy, the ground's wet. Put your hand on a pile of dry leaves and put your other hand on the bare ground, and you'll feel the difference quite a bit. Big difference in temperature. So I want to dry this out using heat. The upside of having fire for heat is the smoke. The smoke is going to push out all the little critters in here. It's mid-December. There's still spiders creeping around. I don't want to sleep with spiders, so the smoke is going to aid in pushing those little critters out so I don't get bit up tonight. There's your pro tips. Stay alive as long as you can.